Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. This week we are of course going to get into the word and kind of what God is speaking to me this week. But first we're going to try a new recipe, and this week for dinner I am cooking roasted veggies and a Marry Me chicken. And then of course everything is dairy and gluten free. I will try to link the recipe below if it turns out good. So I'm going to show you the ingredients, then I'm going to cook the dinner and show you how it turns out, and then we can get into the word. But for the roasted veggies, you can use any veggies you want. Tonight I am going to be using carrots and Brussels sprouts. So I already have those washed, and then I'll go ahead and chop those up in a minute here. And then for the Marry Me chicken, it's a super simple recipe that I found. So you're just gonna need, of course, chicken breast. I'm making dinner for two, so I have 2 chicken breasts. You're gonna need fresh basil, some dried oregano, red pepper flakes, nutritional yeast, sun-dried tomatoes, organic chicken broth, coconut milk, and then some minced garlic. So that's all you need. Super easy. I'm gonna start by chopping the veggies and get those in the oven because it takes a little bit longer to roast. And then I'm gonna throw all the ingredients together and put it in the oven. And I'll kind of just show you guys as I go, and we'll see how it turns out. All right. Alright guys, this looks so good. So I am going to go ahead and eat my dinner, and then after we eat, we'll get into the word. Alright guys, that Marry Me chicken was just so good. And anytime I have roasted Brussels sprouts and carrots, I'm happy. I'm such a vegetable person, and I know it has nothing to do with the fact that they're healthy. I genuinely love vegetables. So I highly recommend, if you're a veggie girl, veggie person, that is such a great and easy, healthy meal. And then the Marry Me chicken is just a fun way to kind of mix up cooking your chicken instead of just doing, you know, basic chicken. So highly recommend, and it was super good. So now that we're all done with that, I'd love to get into the word. I am currently doing 2 Bible studies, and it's funny, one's going through the very beginning of the Bible, and the other one I'm reading through the end of the Bible. And so I'm getting a really good grasp in the whole picture of the whole Bible, and it's been really fun. But in one of the Bible studies that I'm doing right now, it's called like 52 Weeks in the Bible. It's a woman's Bible study. I will link it below. I got it on Amazon, and it's just incredible because it takes you through the Bible in 52 weeks. And every day you read about 3 to 4 chapters in the Bible, and it kind of jumps around a little bit, but you stay pretty consistently going from Genesis through Revelation. So right now I'm currently on week 8, and we are reading through Numbers and and Proverbs actually. So it's kind of jumping back and forth between those 2 chapters. And this morning, I actually wanted to share what I was reading today, because the story was something I wanted to share as It's the season I'm in right now. I also think it would be good to share because a lot of the times we share things, it's kind of already something that we've gone through or conquered or came out on the other side of. And I also think it's important to capture the moments and talk about the moments when we're in the midst of them, when we haven't quite figured it out, and kind of just being vulnerable and honest in those moments. Because I think a lot of the times it's really encouraging, obviously, to get encouragement or advice from someone who's already gone through it. And that's obviously very important because they've already gone through it and they can give you good advice. But it's also really encouraging to have someone who's in the midst of it. And for me right now, I kind of feel like this passage and kind of what I want to speak on is a little bit of something I'm going through currently. So today I'm going to read out of Numbers 22. It's going to be verse 21 through 34. Balaam got up in the morning, saddled his donkey, and went with the Moabite officials. But God was very angry when he went, and the angel of the Lord stood on the road to oppose him. Balaam was riding on his donkey, and 2 servants were with him. When the donkey saw the angel of the Lord standing on the road with a drawn sword in his hand, it turned off the road into a field. Balaam beat it to get back on the road. Then the angel of the Lord stood in a narrow path through the vineyards with walls on both sides. When the donkey saw the angel of the Lord, it pressed close to the wall, crushing Balaam's foot along it. So he beat the donkey again. Then the angel of the Lord moved on ahead and stood in the narrow place where there was no room to turn, either to the right or to the left. When the donkey saw the angel of the Lord, it lay down under Balaam, and he was angry, and he beat it with his staff. Then the Lord opened the donkey's mouth, and it said to Balaam, "What have I done to you to make you beat me these 3 times?" Balaam answered the donkey, "You have made a fool of me. If only I had a sword in my hand, I would kill you right now." The donkey said to Balaam, "I am not your own donkey, which have always ridden you to this day. Have I been in habit of doing this to you?" "No," he said. Then the Lord opened Balaam's eyes, and he saw the angel of the Lord standing in the road with his sword drawn. So he bowed down and fell face down. The angel of the Lord asked him, "Why have you beaten your donkey these 3 times?" "I have come here to oppose you because your path is a reckless one before me. The donkey saw me and turned away from me these 3 times. If I had not turned away, it would certainly have killed you by now, but I would have spared it." Balaam said to the angel of the Lord, "I have sinned. I did not realize you were standing on the road to oppose me. Now if you are displeased, I will go back." So after reading that passage, I was kind of pondering it and just thinking about it, and I feel like I'm in a season where God might be redirecting my path. And I love the imagery that this just brings to life, that just like Balaam and how the angel stood in his way to stop him from going down the wrong path, God too will step down and he will close doors. He will do what he needs to do. He will say no. He will hold off on things if we're not ready for them in order to give us, put us on the right path. And God knows so much more than we know. And sometimes that redirection can be hard, not knowing if we're on the right path can be hard. And I think that it's important to remember that sometimes we're not on the right path and we don't even know that we're walking on the wrong path, and we're unaware that God's putting these blocks in our lives. He's putting these things to happen. He's letting us go through trials, or he's putting obstacles, and he's trying to let us know that, hey, you might not be on the right path. It's definitely something that's been working in my professional career and kind of some of my relationships, where I've found that God has put obstacles or allowed obstacles to come into my life, and he's put blockades in different areas and shut doors. And although sometimes it's hard, I really do believe that God saying no to these things is protecting me. It's protecting me from what could be ahead, and it's redirecting me to what He really has in store for me. And I think it's just such a beautiful thing that we need to remember when things are no, that, and maybe it's not that it's a no altogether, but maybe it's not your time and it's not yet. So I just encourage you that we want to be in God's favor, and we want to be in His will, and His will for our life is much bigger and better than we can ever imagine. So sometimes when we get a no, or we get obstacles, or we get these road bumps, we should pause and take a moment and just really pray on this. Is this your will, God? And if it's not your will, I don't want it. And just listen to God and listen for His discernment and His wisdom in these moments where maybe He's trying to tell you something, or to redirect you, or put you in a position of being uncomfortable so that you can see that you may have gone a little bit off path, or maybe He just has a better path for you. And this can be in your life, in your relationships, in your job and career, and any area of your life. I feel like this really can just apply. And I just wanted to end with a verse from Proverbs, a verse that we all know very, very well, but it's just something that kind of went hand in hand with this. And another thing to just pray over our lives and to remember as we have these situations and these road bumps, and we should come to God and pray and ask for His discernment and His wisdom in our life to ensure that we are walking in His favor and in His will. But we also need to remember this verse from Proverbs 3. Trust in the Lord with all of your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all of your ways submit to Him, and He will make your paths straight. So just as it says in Proverbs, if we ever are unsure that we're on the right path, and we feel as though there's some uncertainty and maybe some roadblocks and maybe even redirection altogether, where He does, redirect your path, or He does close a door, and whether that's in your life, in your job, in your relationships, I think it's important to remind ourselves that if we just continue to trust God with all of our heart and lean on Him and read His word and pray to Him and ask for His wisdom and His discernment, that He will make our path straight and He will show us the right way. So I feel that's kind of something God has been speaking to me this week, and it's definitely something that I'm currently going through. I really do think God is redirecting my path. He's shutting some doors. He's saying no, not yet in some areas of my life, and being patient and trusting in Him is hard, but I'm encouraged, and I encourage you as well as you go into this week to just remember the verse in Proverbs 3, to trust in the Lord with all of your heart, lean not on your own understanding, in all your ways submit to Him, and He will make your path straight. If we trust in God, He will make our path straight. And I just feel encouraged going into my week and into this season with that reminder. And of course, thank you for watching. I hope you have a wonderful and blessed week.